should non-citizens get the right to vote in local elections. This week, New York City became the largest city in the country to allow non-citizens that right. The city council overwhelmingly approved the legislation, which affects more than 800,000 legal residents. It pertains to non-citizens who have lived in the city for at least 30 days and are legal permanent residents in the U.S., including those with green cards, work permits, and DACA status. They'll be able to vote for citywide offices like mayor, public advocate, borough president, and city council. Outgoing Mayor Bill de Blasio, despite being a critic of the bill, has said that he would not veto it. The legislation does not entitle non-citizens to vote in state or federal elections. Still, this goes against the grain of several states that have increased voter restrictions. Last year, Colorado, Florida, Alabama voters approved ballot measures stipulating that only U.S. citizens can vote. Such laws are already in place in North Dakota and Arizona. Non-citizens here in New York City would be able to begin to register to vote a year from now and could begin voting in January of 2023. Last night on CNN, I spoke to the city councilman who proposed the legislation, Idanis Rodriguez, and he told me this.
Everyone were allowed to vote up to 1886. So what happened? Why did we start changing those laws? Why in the 1940, most states in this nation say there's something wrong there, and then let's put some obstacle for the new immigrants coming, who were Irish, who were Italians, who were Jewish, who were Latino, who were black. So what we are saying right now, let's revise it.
Joining me now is Christopher Arps. He's the president of Americans for Citizens Voting. Thanks so much for being here. You heard the councilman, and additionally, he said this is the way historically it was in this country. So essentially, he argues we're going back to our roots. What do you say to that?
You know, Michael, this is a growing movement that's going all across this country for the last few years to allow non-citizens to vote in San Francisco and Los Angeles, from Vermont, Maryland to Maine, allowing citizens to vote, non-citizens to vote. Look, we applaud people that come to this country the legal way and are doing it correctly. We're just asking that if you want to vote in this country, complete the process and become a citizen. We are not anti-immigrant. We're more for voter integrity.
Look, a couple of years ago, I delivered a speech at a naturalization ceremony, federal courthouse in Philadelphia, and I remember it well because the 100 or so people who were completing the naturalization process, becoming citizens, they were overwhelmed emotionally, crying, loved ones, family. They'd played by all the rules. They had taken the test, a test, by the way, civics test that I question whether many Americans could get a sufficient grade. And I guess like you, I worry that we are watering down that experience if in fact we go this route. That's a large part of your concern, right?
It is. And if, this past 2020 election had a lot of contention in it, people were worried about voter integrity and cheating and all of that. And I think the wrong message that we want to send is to allow non-citizens to vote in our elections and create more distrust in the electoral process.
Okay, so let me, though, at least play devil's advocate with you, because the councilman last night said to me, these folks are legal. They're not undocumented. I guess that's the proper word to use, but I'll say it this way. They're not illegal. They're somehow in the system. They have green cards in some instances. But most importantly, he said they're paying taxes. So if they're paying taxes, isn't this a taxation without representation kind of thing?
First of all, Michael, you and I can't go to Mexico, we can't go to Canada or any other country and establish permanent residency and vote in their elections. Look, if you want to become a citizen and you want to vote, become a citizen first. Look, I could go to New York City, and because I pay taxes or pay taxes in any other jurisdiction, should that give me the right to vote? I don't think so.